this boy that just talked, him and watch on the path and some evening at the church. I said, Papa, I bought you 4-wheeler. I said, sure, just be careful. Okay, well, they all go about an hour and a half to come back on one 4-wheeler. Mark come up on the floor and he said, Papa, I said, we got trouble. I said, what's that, Mark? He said, your 4-wheeler goes under the shadow of the lawn, the bee is the lawn. Papa, it's still running. He sat there a while, and I went, well, it's almost church time. I said, well, I don't know. When he changed the road, he started down the road, and Buddy, my boy, met us. He said, they done talked to him. He said, Daddy, I'll go with you and take the kids. When I come home to church, we not ready to start noting that Mark and sitting on the back feet. I went back there, he come up there and said, everybody, well, he was big, got up and turned around. He said, you know, Papa, he said, Buddy got over there, and he went up and he rubbed them knees. He got on the 4-wheeler, bagged it off of there, and they didn't want to speak. He said, when we go up out, they just come to us. Mark, we like it. God bless.
Babysitters no more than parents do.
I spent many summers on vacation at the Scroggin house. That was my vacation for the summer. Needless to say, it was very adventurous. I never was bored. Even the time when you were modeling my baby. Art has put me through misery, and there were so many times when I didn't have to heal. But now I'm going to, whoever your real sergeant is, I'd like to speak to you before you get there. And tell him that the main punishment for Mark, and the only thing that ever worked, was to put him back. You can beat the fire out of it. It would never do any good, but put him back. And I'm going to beg, please let me up. I mean, I'll do anything you like. Just let me up. It's sat him down so much, let's start doing the numbers. But I just don't want to do all numbers. I never thought he would turn out to be what he has. But I love you and I will always miss you.
Okay, me and James feel like we got a big investment in Mark. When he grew, when he was between 14 and 16, he grew 6 3/4 inches. And when he came over the house, the first door opened, the door would come in, and the second door would be the refrigerator. We got a big investment in Mark. Things well
cousin. But when we were young, of course, all of us the Woods grandkids spent a lot of time at Papa and Grandma's house. And me and Mark and George and Rhonda and Ginger would all play together. And Mark was the youngest. He was the littlest, he was the best, he was the tag-along. He'd always be the one with, does Mark have to go there? But then he began to grow. Well, I remember a few times when we were young that maybe me and George got just a little bit rough with him. And that was when he was littler than us. I know one incident in particular that George hopes he's forgotten about. But now he's grown up and he's bigger than us, so we got to be nice to him. And now me and Shane and George always run around together. And just when Mark is getting where he's tolerable to hang around with, he's got to go off and leave. We've actually beginning to enjoy his company, and now he's got to go leave. But I wish him the best of luck, and we're going to miss him while he's gone. But we're not going to forget about it.
I'd just like to say that Mark has always known the difference between right and wrong. Patricia talks about the good Mark and the bad Mark, and he's always known. I joined the Scroggin family just a few months before Mark was born, so I've known him all through the years too. And one particular incident stands out in my mind to explicitly illustrate how well Mark knows the difference between right and wrong. He's really concerned about that. We were sitting in the basement of George and Carol's house, and we heard this conversation yelling between Ginger and Mark. And went up there, and Mark was saying, "Can you see me?" He was out in the front yard, and Ginger was saying, "Yes, I see you." And Mark would say, "I'm not talking to you." And he'd look up, "Can you see me?" And this went on several times. And finally, Ginger said, "Who are you talking to?" And Mark said, "I'm talking to God and Jesus and Santa Claus." We're watching him, that he better not do whatever it was he was planning to do. So he's always known the difference between right and wrong.
Y'all got to see most of these stories. I was too young, so I can't back myself up. Y'all so I can't hear my side of it. We got my goodness.
Well, I've known Mark all of his life, too. I can remember the day that Mark was born. You know, I worked at Piedmont Hospital for years and years and got roped into helping with surgery. And I went into labor on Friday night. It was kind of late, I remember, because when I got to the hospital, Dr. Sheffield was there. I don't know how many of you remember him, but he had come to examine a football player that had got hurt. The game was over. And he said, "Yeah, you're in labor. We'll put you in the hospital." With George and Mark, George and Ginger, I was in the hospital in labor maybe 5 or 6 hours. With Mark, I was there all night long. They had surgery scheduled at 8 o'clock the next morning. He was born at 7:15. He just makes it every time. They did get him into the world and then get on with their surgery. And Mark has been a trial. But it's one of those trials that several people have mentioned how he always wants to ask questions. I mean, you know, all kids like to ask questions, but he's ridiculous. He's always asking you questions. And there was always a question for the answer that you just gave, you know. And I can remember when he started school, and I don't remember if he was in kindergarten or first grade, but it was early. He hated school. Hated it. And every morning I would take him out to Miss Scroggin's house so that she could take the kids on to school. Every day he would ask, "Why do I have to go to school?" And I would, you know, give him these reasons. Well, you need to learn. You know, you need to better yourself. If you want
want to be able to get a job when you get older, and, you know, this kind of thing. And I must not have been convincing. And I finally just had it up to here one day, and I finally said, Mark, you have to go to school till you're 16 because the federal government says that you have to go to school. And if we don't send you to school, they'll put me and your daddy in jail. Studied a minute and said, well, who'd take care of me and George and Jim? I said, Mark, do you mean that you would let them put me and your daddy in jail? Well, I had to. And he just told us about how he can't defend himself because a lot of the things that were telling her when he was younger. When he was a senior in high school, Mother, why didn't you hold me back? I wish I had another year. That wasn't so long ago. You've heard mention, too, of the way he liked to fly. And he did. One of the pictures you saw, Bill and Jean had been canoeing. They had their trophies, and they had a grease pole climbing contest that Mark, nobody ever got to the very top of the pole, but Mark got higher than anybody else. There were adults and everything else trying. He was a little fella. He won, I think, $75 for climbing that grease pole. But he liked to climb everything. We had been on vacation, and G and I had been going somewhere. While we were gone, he was climbing and swinging on Grandma Scroggin's clothesline and fell, and it cut his leg, his heel. And I don't remember how many people did it held you down for those stitches.
I don't remember. It was Jerry. I know Jerry was one of them because I hated him for a long time. He would have let me get a doctor.
But he had stitches just here. At that time, the Little League players were playing at the elementary school in the center. There was a playground just right next door, which made it real convenient. While G and I were watching George play ball, we just let Ginger and Mark play on the playground. And you just look out there and find them every now and then. Well, one day, just shortly after he had a cut in his leg, I couldn't find him. I was looking on the playground, he was gone. We looked for him. I got G to start help me look for him. You know, we didn't physically go over there, we were just looking for him. We finally got up and started hunting. We got about halfway around and we got to the flagpole, and there he was. And he was about 3/4 of the way up, and there was a metal piece sticking out that the chain would go through. And he told us when he got down that he was afraid it hurt his leg on that metal piece. That's the only reason he stopped. That's the only reason he went up just so high. There are many, many more things that I could tell you, but there's stuff, you know how they come to you in spurts and then you're gone.
When you were two, you climbed up the antenna of your house, and Ginger was out there inside, and she said, I know, don't tell Mama. By the time she got into the house to tell Carol, Mark had ran the length of the house, jumped down on top of the car, which was parked halfway under the roof there, and was on the ground. So when Carol got there, it was like, good bitch. 2 years old.
He was real young when he was climbing things. Like they'll send him in good stead for his physical exercises that we do here in the Marine. But he's known for a while now that he would be leaving. He's fine. He came up to the hospital one night about 9 o'clock. Now, I was going to be home at 11, but he made a trip to the hospital at 11 o'clock to get me to sign the paper for him to go into the Marine. That brings on another thing. I used to get so mad at him because he would call me long distance. Mama, Ginger won't let me turn the TV. Long distance. But just not too long ago, he's known for a while that he was going to be leaving. And just a few days ago, he made a trip to Six Flags with Kirk and his kids. And I guess he knew that I was going to miss him. I told him one of the things I hated about him going in the Marines the most. In fact, the only thing really is that I was miss him. He said, I thought that was the thing you'd like the most. But he knew better. And so he left me something to remember him by. He knew that I would be missing one monkey, so he got me another one to take his place. This is what he brought me. So this will be my heart. old neighbors know a lot too, Mark.
Mark, I don't know if that's that. You live close to me. I just want to tell you one story. You remember the day you come around and got the judge of water? I remember going to get a bunch of judges. They were one day, he come up around and got the jug of water, started back home, jug, poured it out. He got back down the tap, and I think he filled it up with their water. They was getting my water because it made better tea than theirs. And he got mine, before he got home, he had it poured out. He filled it up with theirs. We love you.
Somebody has to yell, child.
Is there anyone else? Mark, you want to say a word to you? Come on, Mark. Well, we usually have our, we always try to benediction at the end. We'll let Mark sing it. Oh, you want to sing that song? Okay. Get all the youth up here, then we'll. How's that? And then go into that benediction.
I don't feel like I would have done Mark justice. If I didn't come and do this, I don't feel like I would have done justice. It won't be long, I promise.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Yes, I've known Mark all his life, and I didn't want to know Mark. I realized I had to because I teach the junior-senior high Sunday school class, but when the summer came that Mark would be in my class, I really thought, Lord, I know you won't put more on me than I can handle. But I think there's a goose this time. But you know, if I had been cheated of that privilege, my life would not have been enriched. Yes, I cry every time. But there's something inside Mark that's so real and so good. And I want to challenge Mark. When he's out, when he comes to me, the first time I get to see him, or the second time, I don't care which time it is, I want Mark to be able to say to me, you know, I've won some people to the Lord. Because he can do it. I know he can do it, and I love him to pieces, and I'm going to miss him. And sometimes I wish, you know, I just really wish that I could open him up and just look inside and see what's there. But there's something so special, and God has put it there, and Mark can use it, and I know he will, and I challenge him to do it. Thank you.